So here we go. This is the Franklin Public Library, June 27th, 2022. Board of... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the minutes. Thank you. July 25th. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was the minutes. Meeting of the Board of Trustees. Roll call attendance. I apologize. I don't have your name. Annalee B. Bennon, thank you, is here.
Can I just ask how you spell your first name so I have it right?
Sure. A-N-N-A-L-E.
Okay. Thank you.
And is it just B-E-N-I-N or is there two N's and a lot of N's? Yeah. I always use the minutes from the previous meeting to take attendance because all the names are there. So. Okay, Doris Weber. We're being recorded, so just, yeah.
Okay. I've never had to do that before.
Sorry, Terry Barris. Alexandrovich.
Here.
Mike Karalevich.
Here.
And Kristen Wilhelm is not present yet at this time. All right, first order on the agenda. Nope, there's no public present, therefore no public comment. And we received a $300 donation from the Franklin Lioness Club with the letter that you all read. Jennifer, any additional comments on that? Nope. Okay. Then we can look at the minutes from the June 27th, 2022 meeting. Are there any from the June 27th, 2022 meeting? Are there any comments from that?
I know we talked a little bit about this the last meeting, but I'm just wondering when we talk about the flood that occurred. Is that really what we want to say? Did we have a flood, or was there just like a water?
Fall. It was a lot of water.
It was a waterfall.
Yeah, a lot.
Is that under Jennifer's?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know, like water underneath it. But
Hi, Kristen.
It was a lot of water. Hi, Kristen. How are you?
Mike, would you would define result from a plugged drain? I mean, it wasn't a natural flood of water from the outside. Is that what you're looking at, or?
I'm just wondering, like flood means just like, okay, it's like we had to close the library and there was 2 feet of water. That's
Right.
kind of like a flood. It's like, what's it confined to?
Right.
Right.
The children's area.
Okay,
Above the computers.
so we should say water damage.
I agree. Flood
Right.
brings in like the library is flooded versus children's area. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, Mike, give us some wording. Give Judy some wording.
It's water damage that occurred in the children's area due to, or is it the children's area due to, or is it the
Condensate drain.
condensate drain?
Excellent. Any other issues with the minutes? Or
I make a motion to approve the minute
I'll second.
with the change.
Annie,
I make a motion to approve the minute
I'll second.
with the change.
Annie and Mike, all approve? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Moving on to the Finance Committee, Alan.
All right.
The Finance Committee, Alan.
All right. The reports that we have represent 49.59% of the year. And for Fund 15, we have 94.78% of the budget because we get most of our revenue from the city. They're still concerning. Especially when we get to Fund 16 and they're able to invest and make money. Don't understand the difference. Total expenditures are 46.23% of the budget, and Individual expenditures are pretty much as,
I've got a question about account 5114, severance. Who's that?
Karen Grahusky and Kathy Grimshaw retired.
Oh, okay. Usually I think of severance as like when you're releasing somebody.
I think you might have missed the meeting when Alan brought that up too, why they call it severance, but it should be like it's a retirement payout.
Okay.
So Doris, I'm just picking on you a little bit because you're brand new, but like under Fund 15, all the way through like employee personnel and benefits, those are numbers handed to us from the city. That's not really stuff we control, and a lot of those numbers are plugged in for us. So it's not things that we have a lot, that's not under our control. But we still question them quite often. So I had a question under Fund 15, 5415, the telephone charges. Is there a reason? Do we pay that quarterly, or was there some new
No.
something, or what's reason? Do we pay that quarterly, or was there some new
No.
something, or what's going on?
So every year I have to reapply for
Gotcha.
the,
Oh yeah,
I forget what it's called,
some special rates.
some special state government contract pricing.
Gotcha.
And I have to do it every year and
Okay.
start in May
Gotcha.
when I get the $200 phone bill.
Okay. Sounds good.
And it should be $100.
Gotcha. Okay.
We'll have
Does it get
credits.
corrected?
Yeah,
gets
I've
credited.
talked with them. That's a process too.
Mhm.
I've talked with them, and so there'll be credits.
Yeah.
So we probably won't be
Okay.
paying a phone bill for a while.
I figured there was something for somebody. Right.
So
Oh.
Like a 9
You have to
911
pay that much just
Yes.
to pay,
for.
otherwise 911 doesn't go out.
you have to dial 9911,
Huh.
and there was legislation that said no, every business, I think it was businesses too, have to have a line where you
questions?
That non-usage cell phone fee is not allowed this 911.
Okay. Moving on to Fund 16.
Alan, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So
Oh,
finish Fund
is that the
6.
first thing I'm?
It is, and we did this last month too. Yeah, and we did that last month too. So finish Fund 16, and then we'll go back.
This is so complicated.
I know. I think because the way it looks on this little outline here. But go ahead. See
Yeah,
that?
if you don't read that approval of vouchers and
Right.
invoices. yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, Fund 16.
We are very attentive, usually.
Yes. Total revenues is 53.4. Yes. Total revenues is 53.47% of the budget, which is above the 49.59%. These results are stronger than budget amount led by donations and fines, and investment earnings, as I said, are positive. It's the first time we had investment earnings, and and it was $100.
Woo!
No, actually, year-to-date balance is $253. So
Okay. Well, you're
we're positive in 16, and we can't do it in 15, and the same people are in 16, and we can't do it in 15, and the same people are investing. I don't get it. Total expenditures are 52% of the budget. Software maintenance is, I assume there was an annual charge that was incurred this month, right?
yeah.
Only the office supplies are running high at 92.6 for supplies are running high at 92.61% of the budget. And that wraps up Fund 16. Were there any questions?
Just one other general comment for the newer people. A lot of those are showing high because they're one-time annual charges. Like subscriptions and maintenance. We are on plans and stuff like that. So that's why some of those in both 15 and 16 show a very high percentage of our budget being used for that reason.
Okay, let's approve some invoices.
Yeah, very good idea.
I looked at the invoices for Fund 15. I didn't see anything that necessarily jumped out at me other than the $7,448 for chairs. But that was the computer chairs and we were anticipating.
No, these were
These are out of
planned.
our
These were
budget.
planned. We had planned.
Okay.
Any other questions on any of the expenditures? There's nothing that jumped out at me.
So the Waterstone Bank 7448 in chairs is the same note that you had about credit card report. These are on the credit card report,
Yes,
right?
because it's on the credit card.
Yeah, okay.
And that was a large number that just stood out.
Yeah. Okay.
So I am looking for a motion to approve $23,253.10.
I so move.
Annie? Maria? Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Fund 16, again, nothing jumps out at me on this. So I would be looking for a motion to approve $3,331.26.
I so move.
Annie? I will second. Maria? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstentions? So moved. Okay. Abstentions? So moved. Okay.
Okay, getting back to the report, just past Fund 15 and 16 financials, we have a cash register report and everything tied out again. It was perfect.
Woo-hoo.
It was perfect.
Woo-hoo.
If you look at the report on the bottom, they show the total of all the different accounts. And all this detail makes up the account balances, and they added to the side the $100 interest, because that's the only other revenue item on exactly to the $3,276.62 for the Fund 16 revenue. And then the credit card report, again, just about as expected, nothing out of the ordinary except for the $7,448 for the chairs.
Jennifer, stuff like that on the cards?
We get it back in gift cards. So that's what we use for winter reading and summer reading.
And I think you've started maybe like within the past 6 months to a year trying to use that credit card more.
Right.
For
Which
that
is why the
reason,
chairs
since-
are on
Yes.
gift cards.
Woohoo. Okay. All right. Any other questions for Alan regarding the treasurer's report? Excellent. We're going on to agenda item 7, business, election of library board officer position. Election of library board officer positions. I think we have a full board here tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, everybody's here. So we are going to cover library board positions and our committee assignments if possible tonight. So we can get it done. All right, committee assignments if possible tonight. So we can get it done. All right, so position by position, I think all of the current board member officers, thank you, board officers, have been in our roles for 2 years. Thank you, board officers, have been in our roles for 2 years. Ravian had been vice president for 2 years, and she's, as of today, no longer on the board. So all of the positions could be elected new members. So we'll start with the president.
Could be, but don't have to be, right?
Okay, that was the discussion. So what makes you say that, Anne Marie? Annie?
I just like it, everybody say what they were.
So wording in, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. The wording in the bylaws, and I know some of us have discussed this.
We talked about it a little.
And yes, the officers, in Article 3, Section 2. Oh, wait. The second sentence states, an officer may succeed him or herself no more than twice.
Wait, one more year.
In our,
Maria.
but in our
And I'm
discussions, we were
leaning-
crossing that out.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I'm
but we haven't-
also, that should, was the second sentence?
That was the second sentence, that an officer may succeed himself or herself no more than twice. So depending on if you read that, yes, there would be, you're elected for a year and then they can succeed themselves twice.
Yeah.
Is that a general understanding?
I nominate Maria.
Okay. Anybody else dying to be president? Okay. We have a nomination on the floor. Are there any other nominations on the floor? Kristen, you're way better at this. Are there any nominations? Other nominations? All right then. All in favor of me doing this one more year?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Well, thank you for your confidence. I do appreciate that. I do enjoy it, and I enjoy being on the board, whether I'm in this position or not.
Said, what's the next thing that it said? Because wasn't there something that said, like, you can take 1 year off and then,
Yeah, the officer shall serve a term of 1 year from when they are elected or until their successor is elected, and no individual shall hold more than one office at a time.
okay, into that.
Yeah.
Maybe when I first read it, it was just a little hurting.
Can we make a point of order?
Yeah.
Do we have a second on that?
You don't.
Oh.
We don't even want the nomination?
No,
Okay. Okay, just to make sure, because I did not have that.
You don't.
Oh.
We don't even want the nomination?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay, just to make sure, because I did not have one in the notes, so.
You're so lucky to have you, Kristen.
Because that could be something that's changed while we're going through the process of changing the too.
We actually, when we went through this officer thing, that second sentence
We
and
had
the
to-
third one,
yes.
yeah, cross it out.
Yes.
Yeah, but we haven't approved.
Second sentence
We
and
had
the
to-
third one,
yes.
yeah, cross it out.
Yes.
Yeah, but we haven't approved.
We haven't
the
approved
haven't,
bylaws.
those. Yeah.
So.
You have to go with the-
Well, we've discussed that.
Yeah, well, I don't think it matters
Yes.
based on the language. I think we're okay based on the language, but when we do approve the approval, it'll be fixed.
Yep. All right, let's move on to vice president. And Ravian is no longer vice president.
Nominate Mike. You're a nice, capable fellow, and something should happen to Maria.
Are there any other nominations to present? All in favor of Mike?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstentions? That was easy. Secretary, I happen to know that our secretary, Dishin.
It's too hard with conflicts.
You're so good at it.
But I know there's someone else out there that's good at it too. So do I have any nominations for secretary? I nominate Annie.
No, I'm terrible at it.
You're not terrible at it. You're not terrible
I
at it.
only have Notepad on my computer. I have
Are you funny?
It's okay, I could use Notepad. I just would cut and paste. But
being secretary.
The personal challenge. Are there any other nominations?
Oh, I am not, no, that,
Any other nominations?
oh, I am not, no, that's terrible.
Okay, all right.
I'm not.
I didn't say anything.
All right.
It was a nonverbal.
We'll give you a year, Doris.
Julie, are you sure? I'm sure.
Somebody
be Josh here.
I would need some. I would need some. Give the minutes, I'm like, no, I don't have it done. I'm rushing it done.
Yeah, they both come to my room.
Guess what I did when I was secretary? She would contact me and say where I
I
was.
scribble all over the agenda, and then I get home and I'm like, what does it say? And then I get home and I'm like, what does it say?
Do we have anyone else that would like to?
Carrie, you want to?
Terry? You're so organized,
Yeah.
Terry.
To the entree, not. But by the time.
Annie, will you accept the nomination?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
All right.
I'll be your backup. I'll be your backup.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
not
be
here
here in
back.
September.
And maybe, well, I won't be here in August, so that's fine, so don't be here in August, 'cause I won't be here.
All right. All in favor of, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed besides Annie herself? All right.
She's not opposed, she's not enthusiastic.
Right, there we go. Exactly. We don't put her down as opposed.
You know, we should be selling this better.
No. Oh, that's right. This is
This is the
recorded.
best
This is the
position
fun
ever,
board.
like, so.
I would say next person that runs for the board and that's
Right.
must be organized, good at typing.
Oh, man. All right, that leaves treasurer, and I automatically nominate Alan because he has put
Aye.
way too much work into organizing our all those spreadsheets going forward. You have to organizing our all those spreadsheets going forward. You have to. You well, I mean, we would really appreciate it
And
here.
it's very
Okay,
thorough and, yep.
Yeah, he accepts. Quick, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so our new, okay. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so our new library board for the 22-23, July to July, would be myself, Maria, as president, Mike as vice president, Annie as treasurer, Annie as secretary, president, Annie as treasurer, Annie as secretary. Phew, that would be, Annie as secretary, Alan as treasurer. All righty. And we'll move right into committee assignments.
It's
Yes.
August to July, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry, August to July.
Okay.
Yeah. She said she'd do it tonight. So committee assignments, I had them right here. I don't know where they went, but committee assignments. Ravian was on the personnel committee, and in the past, we've always had the new member, so Anna Lee would move into that position.
And we're fun.
Oh, that's probably the funnest committee. Next to personnel. Because, So is there anybody else, though, on the current board that was thinking that maybe they'd be ready for a new committee assignment? Buildings and grounds, a try at least for a year. Okay. So then committee assignments will remain the same with our new board members and new superintendent falling into place of previous people. Do we need, Kristen, a motion for that, or is that because it's,
You can just have the minutes reflect that, because that's what the minute, or the bylaws
The-
say, is the president makes the appointments, so then.
I appoint everybody to their committee assignments like I just said?
I got you covered.
Perfect, all right. Jennifer has completed her, we are on agenda item 7. Jennifer has completed her, we are on agenda item 7C. She has completed her 2022 mid-year review.
Is that in the packet?
It was handed out tonight
I
with
just handed
the-
it.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right,
Yes,
right.
mhm.
Yeah.
It was it's not in the packet online, it's a paper. It's not in the packet online, it's a paper. Take it away.
Okay. So I like doing this because it makes me feel better about life. Because we actually did a lot
Yeah,
in
we
the
got a lot.
first 6 months. I'm like, ooh, staff. So 6 months, I'm like, ooh, staff. So Sam and Laura worked on the program, on the survey, and we've been talking about how to get it to people who don't use the library.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're distributing programming surveys to people who are in programs,
Right, they're already,
distributing programming surveys to people who are in programs,
right, they're already in programs.
they're already in
yeah.
the program, that's kind of, but, I mean, we'll still do that, but we're trying to figure out, so we thought it would be perfect to introduce them at the concerts, which we don't get as many people walking by the library table as we would like, but we don't get as many people walking by the library table as we would like, but the National Night Out, we'll have a
Mhm.
table out in the parking lot, and for the Milkmen game.
That's a good
and
idea.
Sam and Laura specifically made it kind of a short survey,
Mhm.
because we don't want it to
Is
be.
there a link to it? Is it on?
Made it kind of a short survey because we don't want it to
Is
be.
there a link to it? Is it online?
We will have it online, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could do it
Yeah.
on your social media.
So, what we're trying to do is get people who aren't users and find out.
Enter through the email that goes out.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike, I couldn't remember the red, green, and yellow. I kept getting it confused with the building and grounds, red, green,
Oh, right.
red, green, and yellow.
Hey Jennifer, just one question. What was the create space number in 2019? Like pre-COVID?
No,
Are we like almost back to that number or?
I don't think so. No,
Okay,
no, but hugely improved over last year.
yeah.
So Sam had a VR virtual reality class in May of 2022, and then Carrie's doing a cricket class coming up in August to try to get kind of the two programs that we've held regarding Create Space technology. So we're not done with summer reading yet. We still have this week, and there are always last minute signups. But we are at way over their goals, so that's good.
That's awesome.
So we'll have the numbers next week. We don't have them quite yet. Carrie and I have been working. Carrie worked with the Where Nature. Quite yet. Carrie worked with the Where Nature Center to do a program. I don't know if you remember the magical journey of the monarch.
Was it Brooke
So,
that came in and did that?
Yes,
Yes.
was, yeah, which was very well attended. And then I'm working on a financial planning class, which was very well attended. And then I'm working on a financial planning class to be held this fall. Strategic Goal 2 Community Hub, evaluate potential improvements to existing internal, external communications. I mean, we've improved internal communications. External is always a work in progress, trying to figure out how to improve that, but,
What were some of the internal communication things that teams resolved?
being able to quickly get the email up their email, they can just see
Right.
that there's a message in Teams.
Yeah, and you can respond to it right away.
It's almost instant messaging.
Okay.
Yeah, it is like instant
Instant
messaging as
messaging.
opposed to like mail, which somebody may only check like once per shift.
Right.
Yeah,
Teams is-
there's nothing that really says that you've got mail.
Yeah, Teams is really fast.
My
So that
husband's
did, so that did improve internal communications. And we're still looking at ways to improve external. I mean, the e-newsletter is definitely one. So it's kind of
So do you feel like
how can we-
external communication is also related to marketing? I mean,
There's a,
so what, who are you communicating to that you feel needs to be improved? Are you talking about just to library users or to city people or to,
I think it's a both.
okay,
It's all the stakeholders, it's all the stakeholders.
okay,
I send out the
maybe a
e-newsletter.
third quarter-
okay.
I send out the
maybe a
e-newsletter.
third quarter one is to come up with the goal, to exactly identify something, because if you're not really, what is it that you're improving? And maybe third quarter is just like, let's have something identified, and then maybe fourth quarter, have something identified, and then maybe fourth quarter is to get it done.
Yeah,
I think that'd be fair.
Like maybe a more specific goal,
Yeah.
because when you just say,
Well,
Yeah.
and we're always looking for something that you can, like when you get the 25% increase, you can use that and say it's been done or not, right?
Right.
So to your point, an increase, you can use that and say it's been done or not, right?
Right.
So to your point, to have something specific, like Microsoft Teams, right, exactly, but, we want to have something.
And the challenge with communication is always that it's two-way. You can be fabulous, but unless the
well, yeah.
other end is not,
Well, group or, there'd be age group or city employees or whatever, that would be,
well, and
age group would just be probably an easier way to break it down.
and screen and zooming in
Yeah.
to read it, and those should be coming through in a mobile friendly
That's
way,
right.
because probably a lot of people, are looking at it in their cars when their kids are playing soccer, if you're talking about a certain age group.
Well, that's
Or
the website.
so that's,
It's our
that's another
website.
thing to look at with your communication.
We are, as you can see, Carrie blew her goal away.
Yeah.
So we're at 239. And I can get the answer to the how many used it, but I want to say it was like probably in the 300s to 400s. So we have a ways to go, but still, we're only halfway
Yeah,
through.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This is halfway through 2022. So
I found her hoops, I just have to bring them to her.
evaluating and implementing the use of room scheduling software. Andy's working on that. He was going to have it done by Q2, except Shorewood, who's the one being the guinea pig for this software that we're interested in, because being the guinea pig for this software that we're interested in, because it sounded like one of those really awesome products, but it wasn't super expensive.
Right.
But they said they were still working some glitches out, so they asked us not to come, for a demo right away. They're working their glitches out. So as soon as they work their glitches out, for a demo right away. They're working their glitches out. So as soon as they work their glitches out, Andy can go.
Remember who? Or is that email?
MailChimp.
Okay.
Continuing to work with new and established community partners on program initiatives. So of course we met with Briscoe Family YMCA. We're still working with trying to work with New Perspectives, and we've worked with the health department. And then the other two are still a ways out. Quarter 3 and quarter 4. Researching the Franklin Business Grants for funds to purchase diverse materials. Carrie did apply for a grant to Dollar Tree and was turned down, but they were like, please apply again next year. Turned down, but they were like, please apply again next year. So it's not, we'll try again. Northwestern Mutual Life Foundation has specific things, but we're still going to try for that. And then we thought Walmart, and then we added Target being a possible. Being a possible grant company. Waterstone Bank did not. They did not approve the grant.
They didn't approve the grant at the name.
Shift their focus, and maybe it's not fitting their.
Or that we moved our checking account?
Yeah, that's it.
Or that we moved our checking account. But you were there. She said it wouldn't affect it. And the fact that they turned Ware down.
Yeah, the Ware always got a grant
No.
for a specific program, and they,
Yeah,
of
so,
course.
Carrie's still working on the foreign language adult fiction collection. So that's- she's got the rest of the year. Strategic goal 4, marketing and awareness, overseeing implementation of We Miss You marketing campaign, Patron Point, which is maybe a product we might be able to use for our newsletters, which would format
Okay.
maybe a
Format
little
them,
better
sure.
than the one we're using now. And we're focusing on those without email addresses, because if there's an email address in the record, they will send a renewal. If there's an email address in the record, they will send a renewal email saying, hey, these are all the great things that your library gives you, come renew your, and they'll link to the actual online renewal.
Nice.
But what we're
That's why I was asking, actually, what is that program called?
Patron Point,
I was asking, actually, what is that program called?
Patron Point,
It's right at the bottom of page 3
yeah.
of this. See, Nicholas uses Patron Point. Do you see that? In yellow.
Yep.
So we will be focusing on.
In yellow.
Yep.
So we will be focusing on those without email addresses, trying to target people that we feel might still live in the community,
Right.
aren't young, where they might have moved off to college and that's why they're not using their library card, or older, Right, maybe.
That, I used to try to track down people for my, group that I used to work for, to try to, addresses and track down where they back and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff, because if you can get a lot of information to them, and then you can target.
At the polling places, and I go to St. Martin's tours, is it allowable to, like, if the library would want to have a table set up outside the area where the voting takes place, but like down the hall, and try to catch, I mean, is that, do you know if that's from a,
Well, it's definitely not campaigning.
no, but if, because I know like I've seen like,
Coincidental, you just happen to be there at the same time.
well, let me give you an example. They used to do bake sales, like the school would do a bake sale in the hall as we walked in, so.
I think it would be fine as long as everybody knows what they're, you can't be saying, hey, by the way, vote for that.
Oh,
Kind
right.
of thing, you know that.
But if it was like by the entrance doors as people came in and out and you have,
Centers sell those.
Oh. oh, the punchkis? Okay. I'm wondering if that might be an idea for, you know, I'm wondering if that might be an idea for, you know, yeah, if you wanted to try to do that, to
Make
catch,
sure whatever space isn't getting in the way of voting.
exactly,
That's
and
the
not,
primary intention.
and not anywhere near, yeah, and maybe
Right.
just catch people, hey, do you have a library? You know, I don't know, near, yeah, and maybe
Right.
just catch people, hey, do you have a library? You know, I don't know, if that get
Yeah.
creative outside the
One of
box.
the things that we used to do when we were set up is just ask people to update their information in the system.
We are
And a lot
asked,
of people
yeah,
would be like, oh, I never thought about that, you know,
Right.
like, do you have your current, about that, you know,
Right.
like, do you have your current email address updated in our system?
Mhm.
Like, and people would be like, oh, I'm sure I don't.
could be a newsletter, well, it obviously, if it goes to the wrong email, it wouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enhancing readers advisory efforts. Andy is up to afternoon library clerks to send out like library welcome packets to new residents. It's been a little harder to get lists of new residents than I thought. I talked to Sandy Wazalowski and she said, you know, they do get change of address notification, but transferring their,
Sure, so it's a new
so she wasn't
resident,
100% sure that would be the best. So then she,
Welcome bike.
does that exist anymore? We were
It
talking
does.
about that.
They call me every year.
Do they? I should
Yeah.
find out how they find out
Yeah,
or talk to a realtor. But right now,
they would know of new addresses, eh?
engineering sends like the sewer and water
Oh.
notices when there are new homes getting ready to be occupied, saying you need to set up service. So they're gonna CC me on those emails. Now I won't have names. CC me on those emails. Now I won't have names.
You don't need
I'll-
a name though.
I don't need a name. I just say for the new homeowner at,
Welcome, friend.
yeah.
Well, would that be an idea to piggyback on a mailing that's already going out? Other than the newsletter?
I mean, a lot of times you get,
Does the school send, other than the newsletter?
I mean, a lot of times you get,
Does the school send something out to all residents or all new addresses?
Well, don't assume that there's gonna be kids related.
Well, no, I know, that's why I'm wondering if the school sends something out to,
And then we have our program to reach kids before they're 3, but I don't know about immediately upon moving in. Then we have our program to reach kids before they're 3, but I don't know about immediately upon moving in. I know we get those addresses and
right,
do like kind of drive-bys literally to look like
Gotcha,
what
sure,
zone they're
sure.
gonna be in within the district. But
Okay,
I don't know
yeah.
that we do any direct mail.
direct, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would look at what would the cost be? If it's minimal, then, I guess I would look at what would the cost be? If it's minimal, then why not just throw something in there, try it out for a while and see what comes back?
Yeah, so we're gonna
It's
do it.
probably pretty minimal just to
Wouldn't
start.
it be, like for the new homes, building inspection-based occupancy permits? Homes, building inspection-based occupancy permits? Like in the new homes?
And that's probably what Glenn was talking about too. That's probably what engineering gets, and then they send them out to sewer and water, John's, just, you know.
I mean, they're already sending something out, so if they're not gonna charge us anything more. not gonna charge us anything more. And put the piece of paper in with what they're already sending out.
Well, I think we'd have to do something separate.
Something separate, they wouldn't just put it in with.
So we would send a packet, we would mail a
Right,
packet.
right.
You'd wanna do a
Okay.
packet.
Yeah.
You'd wanna do a
Okay.
packet.
Are you trying to get addresses? Because, for example, my wife's mother, who's 95, living in West Bend, because she's losing track of things, my wife has all the mail sent to our house. And we got all kinds of things for the new person. Change your address.
Well, when I refinanced my house, I started getting new,
So-
New stuff, too.
welcome to the
So
neighborhood.
where are those
Yes.
addresses? Yeah,
Yes.
somebody knows, so where are those addresses coming from?
Well, that's just coming from the post office. The,
The change of address form.
Oh, you're buying.
You have a lot.
Yeah,
Never
I'm
mind.
happy with starting with this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Glenn's
Yeah,
email.
sure.
I can't remember if he said weekly or monthly, but, I'm like,
then
We'll
you're not
start
just
with that.
throwing
Right.
the
I-
charge into every single address change too.
the new, homeowner,
Mm-hmm.
so.
I would even when you're at the like tables for the concert, I would consider asking people for an email change and tell them, did you know you can renew your books online? Like give them a little reason of why you should update your, give them a little reason of why you should update your email. And even though you don't have that program yet, you can do all these other things by having it, like, I mean, books online, it's awesome, they save me often, even if I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know what Hungry Book is, they save me often, even if I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
what Hungry Book is quite this minute, it gives me
It
2 extra
does.
days to find it. So, I would start advertising, that, just, when you are looking for patrons anyhow, and it'll get them to come up.
Creating a series of videos. I talked with Sam. Hasn't completed them yet, so we're moving that to quarter 3. Increasing the summer reading program participation. Sarah and Brittany have a 28% increase over last year. They were happy that they met their goal and exceeded their goal, and it's not done yet.
It's not even done.
So we're partnering with the Rock on Community Nights, Community Night. August 2nd is our Milkman game. Thank you to everybody who volunteered. Library's presence at the Summer Concert Series, Franklin Civic Celebration, and National Night Out. We are having a table at National Night Out.
Since
We
it's on
didn't
our
make it in
parking lot.
we didn't make it in the Civic Celebration parade because my daughter was marching in her last TOSA parade, and I couldn't find volunteers to hold the banners and pass out stuff.
Gotcha.
But now Milkman game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Laura's still working with Ellen. And actually, Ellen's moving to a new position at the health department. So they're
Oh.
hiring a new person to lead Volition Franklin.
Okay.
But I'm sure Laura will be working closely with them. We do get a lot of volunteers from Volition.
Yeah,
when we have
that is
library
nice.
events.
Yeah.
Events. Increasing awareness at the city administration level. Peggy and I did meet in January, and then March and May have been email. And we still have to meet in July, which is almost over.
Yeah.
And which is almost over.
Yeah.
And Carrie is slowly learning the ins and outs of creating a board packet and in case something happens to me.
Mm-hmm.
But she tells me nothing better happened to me. Any questions? Any questions?
Last page.
Did I miss something?
You missed one page.
Oh, there's
The
more.
very last there.
Oh, there's more. Okay. Overseeing comprehensive evaluation of library hours and present findings to the library board. I had hoped to do that this meeting, but there's a lot of statistics because we kept statistics for a long time. So that will be August or maybe even September with the goal of if there is a need, if we find there is a need for
before where there were some people that were looking for additional hours on Sunday, and since we're not open during the summer on Sunday anyway, that could be a good time if you're gonna change those types of hours, to plug that in.
Well, I was kind of thinking, January 1st might be a good time, to change hours. Finance Committee and City Finance Director on Donations Fund. I think Denise is too new
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to probably move forward on that right now. But I think by the end of the year, she should have a good grasp on things, and she'll be done with the budget project. Because we're piggybacking with the city, we're kind of waiting on the city. And Peggy told me that they're still hoping to do this year. So she didn't want me to move it to 2023 yet, because she still is hoping to get it done this year.
I know that there is some concern. I know that there is some concern among the staff regarding security. So what is happening in the meantime? And I know it's been, this is not a recent thing. We haven't had a great, this is not a recent thing. We haven't had a great security system for a while now. And I think that's also contributes to the staff's unease. So
I don't think we've had a great security system like ever.
right.
The cameras weren't,
right,
the cameras that were donated weren't,
right.
the cameras weren't,
right.
the cameras that were donated weren't high quality. They're not
Right,
good cameras.
right.
It's
So
hard
is
to
there,
see.
how is the staff feeling about this postponement continually, or what is being done in the meantime to try to alleviate some of that? Because that's what is being done in the meantime to try to alleviate some of that, because that's, I don't know, like I said, I think that it's a concern
we all
from what
have we have our security
right,
procedures now,
Right,
when there's emergency issues come up, or
Okay.
everybody walks out together at night.
Okay.
Emergency issues come up, or
Okay.
everybody walks out together at night.
okay,
If I'm alone at night, and I have to walk up to my car, Ryan
gotcha.
will watch, make sure I get safely
Okay.
to my car. So we do have, one of their issues right now is we still lose DVD. One of their issues right now is we still lose DVDs. We're still losing DVDs. Catch
I know.
the person doing that.
How many DVDs do people actually borrow?
Year,
Let's say today, how many people would have borrowed DVDs today?
50. It's they're high.
Camera set up right there?
The reason for asking the question is that in a lot of places, like retail places, there's some things that you cannot get because it's behind. Here's the case. You come with the case and somebody gives you the DVD.
They did that
Yeah.
in South Milwaukee or Cudahy when we lived
Cudahy.
over there. And,
They did it in Cudahy.
and-
They had a really bad.
and
they
I
had
think
a
South
much worse-
Milwaukee too, actually, I remember.
They had a much worse problem than we've
Yeah.
ever had.
And it was,
Yeah.
no, that's what I'm saying. It was a pain. You had to look the person in the face and ask for a DVD and the circulation
I
clerk.
think our
assistant.
DVD circulation would probably go down.
Do we have numbers
I
from
don't know,
other
maybe
libraries? How many are being stolen from Greendale? And Hills Corners? I don't know. Like ours and not
Put
other
something
people?
like that in place. What do you do if a DVD disappears? You don't replace it, do you?
Well, if some of our DVDs we have duplicates, so we already have another copy, and we're just like, well, we're down to one copy, no problem.
So my thought is that one
We're down to one copy, no problem.
So my thought is that one option that you have with anything is do nothing. Right? So one option is this, okay, we're losing a lot of DVDs. Okay, so you're gonna do something, or you're gonna say, okay, we're losing DVDs. Those are your two options, right? And in one case, those are your two options, right? And in one case, if you're gonna keep them.
Camera
I
put
mean, they're
on-
not that
I
expensive.
closed it.
Gosh, I've got cameras
Pardon
all
me?
around my house.
I was thinking about a camera or something that sets off the little alarm. sets off the little alarm.
I mean, well, of the movies that are taken, they're action adventure guy kind of movies. He or she knows how to, I mean, they know how to put the security tags on.
Do they steal the
You can look
DVDs?
on, you can look
the
online.
DVD or the case. I mean, I was just
No, they leave the case.
Yeah, so they just take the there's no way to attach like to the DVD as security.
Well, I know, but if you see someone opening them up and it's the one that, and they're on
Well, like the
camera,
camera.
it's the same
They're-
person always doing it.
Like, in the library.
This person is pretty good. I don't,
What do you think the number is if you had to put a number to it?
Maureen would know because she has the stack on her desk. I would say we probably lose about an average of 3 to 4 a month.
My girls would love that job.
That would be awesome.
Well, we could lock them and they'd
Yeah,
have
like-
to unlock them.
Yeah,
But the
like Mike said,
cases-
yeah.
The cases for the special cases that you have to buy, if we had to buy all new cases, it's way more. That'd be way more than the dollar amount of the DVDs. Way more than the dollar amount of the DVDs we lose.
$1,000 a year,
Yeah, at most. Yeah,
so it's what counters that expense.
yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's just hard to know that our items are being stolen and we can't stop it. So, being stolen and we can't stop it. So, they took all of the Express DVDs, which are the brand newest ones,
Put them back
and put them
behind.
back behind the desk
And
for an
then,
extended period of time.
and then our
because-
Express DVDs
and
weren't
that helped.
circulating. It helped.
period of time.
And then our
because-
Express DVDs
and
weren't
that helped.
circulating. It helped, but nobody was asking to see the Express DVDs. They weren't circulating.
Yeah,
Is there a sign that said, I haven't looked at
yeah,
it in a while.
it
Is
said
there
they
a
were
sign
back
that says-
behind the desk, yeah.
Are the cases out?
Oh, no, that would be an idea. That you could still put the, if those are the ones that are the high, those and the new ones.
Well, those
maybe
are
put
the high-
a portion of the circulation. I mean, were those the highest thefts, the new ones?
Some, but not all.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Mm-mm.
brainstorm. All right,
But anyway,
I
yeah.
think we'll move on. If you have other great ideas for the DVD issue.
So I think that's it because everything else is.
All right, good job, and please tell your staff. Great job, you know, paying attention to this, completing it, staying on track, and getting.
What is your, like, active shooter protocol? Is all that, you have all those?
We had training
Yep.
3 years ago. No, pre-pandemic.
Right,
So
yeah.
2019. I think that was.
Is that ever
2019.
gone through with the police department, or is that part of this?
Yeah. It will be. Yeah, it will.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't
Over
the
2
it wasn't the
years,
very intensive active shooter training.
Mhm.
So we didn't have too many nightmares that night.
Mhm.
But it was good. It was valuable.
Absolutely.
That's a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
Together to give the city an update on how things are going.
Are we on their agenda? Because I know we were talking about that for this summer yet, or?
Yeah. I mean, August will be the earliest.
Okay.
Late August.
August 2nd?
That's our milkman game.
That's our
That's
time
our-
game.
We can't, and we probably can't get on the agenda.
No,
Okay.
you can get on the
On the
agenda.
agenda
Yeah,
that quick?
as long as I
Okay.
have it.
Well, it's the milkman
As long
game.
as I have it by
Can't be in
Friday
two places
morning.
at once.
Yeah. I mean, at least the library has been, Dennis gave the foundation.
But we're getting $1 million from the city. So that's why we need to get in front of them and talk about what we're doing with our strategic plan. Number one, we have one. Number
Right.
two, we're doing really well against it.
So can the board recommend that we get on the agenda for September, since
Yeah,
August is the milkman game? And that'll be the,
yeah.
August is the milkman game. And that'll be it won't be the 2nd of September, but do you have
We
that?
also have all the summer numbers. It would be the
The
first.
first
and
Tuesday?
First and third.
First and third, the common council meets the third Thursday? All
Third
set.
Tuesday.
Tuesday and third, the common council meets the third Thursday? All
Third
set.
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh, so August,
That would be the day after Labor Day, right?
well,
I won't be.
the
in town.
2nd or the 16th, you won't be in town. Okay, so then that would be September 13th. Okay, so then that would be September 13th is the second Tuesday.
It's the first,
Third
it's the
Tuesday.
third Tuesday.
I'm sorry, the 20th of September.
Does that work for you?
Alrighty. We will move on here to our bylaws. We are gonna, and for Doris and Annalee, we are reviewing our bylaws in detail. And we're just kind of going section by section, looking at wording. Now, Doris, do you? Okay, and then do you have a copy maybe for,
I can go make one
okay.
if you want.
Okay, how about that? And I set my timer for 10 minutes this time, since we've had a lengthy discussion already on the action plan. So I have a section 6, which involves the treasurer. I don't know if it's worth it for me to read the whole thing out loud. We should have already reviewed this. So does anybody have any comments about the wording? We are not rewording this together. We're just making comments so that the wording can be hashed out by a smaller group of people at a future time. But Alan especially, do you have any comments about that section? Or anyone else, actually?
No,
Okay.
I think no,
Okay.
I think we had a brief conversation last time that there were things that I wasn't doing. About that.
Gotcha. Yep. I do remember that. All right.
I just have a question backing up.
Sure.
In,
All right.
I just have a question backing up.
Sure.
In appointments in July, you typically appointment a council people.
Because they don't come on until July. They're not busy with the first official meeting, so we're talking about doing, officers and committee appointments and things like that. We said, well, we'll put it on the master calendar then, because then you have new people on it.
But I guess with that to be the official, I think according to our master calendar, we're starting to look for new members and asking for reappointments back in April. We've always, for whatever reason, the board's calendar has always been July to July. So in April, we kind of assess people whose terms is up, and then by the time, I think Judy's actually just came through, but, so, yeah.
It's better that way. to kind
Well,
of
I thought the
move
appointment was from
politics.
July 1 to June 30th.
Right,
So the appointment is from July 1 to June 30th, and I think that we did the 60 days within that.
From July
that
1,
date,
yep.
So that people,
Yep.
so that we could get the officers should say we have to do it within 60 days of. I know it's a bylaw, but I thought there was
It's
a
a bylaw.
statute, there might be a statutory
There might be,
requirement that we have to do. it
Is that
within
from the
60
state? Are you talking about
yeah, I
the state?
thought it was
Okay, and I don't have my
yeah.
binder here tonight, but I can check into that.
Chapter
But I think,
43.
so I just think that's why we did it that way, it was because of the way the appointments
The-
were done and in the state
okay.
law.
Good.
Because of the way the appointments
The-
were done and in the state
okay.
law.
Good question though, and we can, before we approve all this, we can take a look at that and, yeah.
Because immediate council and some of the political. You're not doing an angel with the rest.
And I also know that not, like,
An angel with the rest.
and I also know that not, like, not every appointment happens in April, so there's still, May and June if we still need more time, or if someone
We ought to start the
doesn't.
process early enough to make sure that we add somebody.
Right,
Here in July.
yeah, so,
Add somebody.
right,
Here in July.
yeah, so,
Right, well, I think the other reason we do it within 60 days is because sometimes, like you said, it's late, right, in the process, we don't have a person for the July meeting,
Mhm.
or you don't have like everybody present that you wanna have present.
Because
Like, I think
it's
there have been a
summer,
couple of
yeah.
times where people were missing in July, and let's
You're right,
so
yeah.
that we have more people here for the nominations.
But why not April, was the question, so, all right. Alrighty, then we will go on to Article 4, unless there's any other questions or any other comments about, officers. So, Article 4 is meetings. Section 1 is regular meetings. Do we want to, it says, the regular meetings shall be held each month, to be set by the board, which at its annual meeting to be held at the first meeting after July 1st. So I assume like today would be the annual meeting. And so we should be setting our regular meeting dates tonight. I don't know that we need to do that. Is that what that means? But I'm wondering, since we have started
set them
doing.
At the beginning of the year.
Right, I know. And I'm wondering if we need to add our retreat adds onto our regular meeting schedule, since we have now been doing that every single year. Or do we leave that as we have now been doing that every single year? Or do we leave that as we'll schedule it as needed meeting? I'm just asking for your opinion, if we need to add that to the bylaws, or if that's just something we want
I took it as our regular.
to, as needed,
I took it as our regular monthly meeting, as our regular.
as needed.
I took it as our regular monthly meeting.
Okay,
But, you know, it mean, if we're thinking it's anything that we get on anything scheduled regularly is a regular meeting. And I don't know that that's, is a regular meeting. And I don't know that that's,
right.
I didn't think that's what was meant.
My only reason for doing that is that it would be on the calendar, and we wouldn't have to every single year find a date. We would just know that it's always the second Saturday or third Saturday or whatever. But if it doesn't, that's why I brought it up. I'm just.
The meeting date, your annual meeting in July, or it's gonna change?
When do we do that?
I do it at the end of each year.
Yeah, you
As
do.
part of the holidays, and, I mean, I can change that.
We kind of did that at our December meeting so that we knew what.
We could just revise the bylaws.
Well, we can say at its regular December meeting.
Is there anything in the bylaws about the retreat?
No,
No,
It's a special meeting, it's a special,
since we have it on the master calendar to do it in December. Then the meetings are gonna be, meeting dates are.
set in the December meeting. Okay,
And then if you're calling the retreat under section 4 a special meeting,
right.
and the special meeting except for the retreat, which shall be.
Right. I know. That's kind of what I was getting at with, that meeting has become regular.
Right.
So where does this fall in all of
Well,
this?
you're kind of referring to it as a special meeting.
Right,
Under, where it says special meetings have to be called by people, you say, except for the special meeting of the retreat, which shall be called by
well, it says, special meetings may be called by the secretary at the direction of the president, or at the written request. I guess I can call it, I can tell Annie to call it as the secretary next year.
So I'm just like looking at the Wisconsin
Yeah,
guidebook for public trustees, and it says that there are certain requirements that you need to meet, and one of them is annually within 30 days after the date of the beginning of local library board terms, your library board must hold
Set
an
the-
organizational meeting and elect one of your members as board president, and also elect any
30 days, does that
officers.
say?
So that says 30 days.
Okay,
And they have some sample board bylaws days.
okay.
And they have some sample board bylaws in here. They seem to suggest the annual meeting is the meeting where you're electing the officers. But I don't see anything suggesting that that's the meeting where you have to set.
The dates.
although I'll tell you that comes right out of the board, out of the guidance. Although I'll tell you that comes right out of the board, out of the guidance, because the handbook says the regular meeting shall be held each month, the date and hour to be set by the board at its annual meeting.
Oh, so not just in December, because that's when we want to do it, but if we're calling our July meeting our annual meeting?
Right, well,
Is
the
that-
it looks like I'm looking at this really quickly, but you might, I'm looking at this really quickly, but you might want to take a look
Yep,
at this, Marie.
yep.
Because it seems to suggest that when they're doing the sample bylaws, they're calling the annual meeting that meeting, the meeting where you elect the officers.
Right.
And the bylaws are saying that's the meeting where you would.
Okay, so go
It's
ahead.
easy enough to change. You know?
It is easy enough for clarification on some of these officer positions. And when I read through them, it was definitely presented as, this is a sample. This is an idea of what you might want to have as bylaws. It wasn't state statute. It was like a sample.
Yes.
But you don't have to, it's a sample. So I think if we say 60 days, that's okay, no?
No, so if you look at it, it says bylaws organizing the board for effective action. You're right, it's a sample guidelines, but it says a few specific legal requirements. And then under that section, where it
Oh,
says
okay.
a few specific legal requirements, one of the 30 days after the date of the beginning of local library terms, you have to elect
Okay,
you must hold an organizational meeting and elect one of your members. So
Okay.
that one seems to be like
That
a legal
one?
requirement.
okay.
That's a statute or anything.
I think it's just that you have to elect the president within 30 days.
And any officers that are listed in the bylaws,
Within 30 days.
and any officers that are listed in the bylaws,
At the annual meeting.
yeah, at the end.
That's
At this
typical
meeting,
for
and-
all nonprofits.
Okay.
To your questions,
So
Terry, I'm trying to see if there's.
So we'll look at that.
we elected them tonight, but we did not notice it as an annual meeting. Tonight, but we did not notice it as an annual meeting.
Oh, okay.
We never have. And you know, some of these things too, if the assumption is that your turnover is in January, well, it's not for us.
Right.
You know, so we've got different things going on at different, you know, so we've got different things going on at different times of year. We set the calendar for the following year in
In
December.
December.
You know, unless we say, okay, we're gonna set the calendar and do all of the stuff in July,
Mhm.
which we could do.
Mhm.
Meetings are still the same
Right.
every month for the most part, right? Other than.
Well, it's so that you're following the
Right,
legalese.
Yeah, and people
Well,
have a right to know about
Right.
an annual meeting with the appointments that you made, because some people, I mean, we don't have that this year, but I mean, that happens.
In other, are there that many dates that change?
I think
It
it's just,
depends on when holidays fall.
And spring break.
Or if we know that it's
Spring
not
break.
likely we're gonna have a quorum
right.
on a particular month, then we'll just go ahead and we'll set it for the third Monday instead of the fourth Monday. For-
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, my timer went off. So.
Okay.
Thank you for pointing that out, Judy. I
Okay,
mean,
we
like I
always
said,
take
I
a look
looked at it
To see what it
and I'll
says,
look at it
sure.
again, yeah, for
And we
sure.
had that one guy who came and talked to us, maybe it's worthwhile.
I've contacted
Well,
him
I
several
can-
times. He's very easy to get a hold
Yeah,
of,
So
so,
maybe it's just worthwhile
yeah,
asking if we're
yeah.
doing it right.
right, yeah, well, right.
You consider it through section 1 and on section 2.
I've read through a lot of
Let's see.
library board minutes and I've never seen
Yes, well, yes,
anything about an annual report, an annual
It's in the
meeting,
sample, but I don't,
well, yes.
anything about an annual report, an annual
it's in the
meeting.
sample, but I don't see the legal requirements. I don't see it referred to as that, but.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can ask Steve.
okay, sounds good. All right, now we're going to go on then to our policy. All right, now we're going to go on then to our policy review, which is the circulation policy. And before Jennifer starts, one of the main changes she made was to take out the word materials, right? And
Well, it
switch it
was-
to items, out the word materials, right? And
Well, it
switch it
was-
to items, because we have a lot of I don't know,
no, I thought it was a good change.
Yes, it's more encompassing. I told her, it includes the cake pans. Cake pans are items, not materials.
Well, there
So
was
a
some,
lot of what cake pans are items, not materials.
well, there
So
was
a
some,
lot of what you see in red is that. That's all I was gonna say. Yeah.
I was, wanting to just, it was kind of, I'm a little petty about it, but I don't like it when you have two different terms in
Yeah,
one. I'm a little petty about it, but I don't like it when you have two different terms in
Yeah,
one. It's
exactly.
like-
So she cleaned that up. Everything's items now, yeah.
Now, unless it doesn't belong in this policy, no mission that I saw in here is that, since we're talking about circulation, there wasn't any mention about lost items or damaged items.
There's a separate policy.
There's a separate policy
Yeah.
for that?
Yeah.
Do we need to refer to that in here?
Well, we refer to the privacy thing in here.
Do you wanna add it under fines or, you know,
That's what I thought.
something like that? Yeah. Either a whole separate thing like fines and then, other charges or,
Right, so
or,
if you were to have the,
So maybe if you have like other reference, other
Right,
policies related to.
right. If an item is damaged or lost, refer to,
You could just name the policy,
right.
Just name whatever it is.
You worked on this with Carrie, right? Yeah, so.
And Maureen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I think, you know, all of the new inclusions with the,
that was
Wait.
the only, that was the only thing I had.
yeah,
I was fine with all the other.
with all the new types of materials, items. Anything else that people saw in this policy that they noticed or had questions about or add, subtract,
Just materials and items.
materials and items? Materials and items. Okay, so then we need a motion to, I guess because we have that addition, we're revising this policy? Is that every month? Is that the wording we're using, Judy? We're revising this, every month? Is that the wording we're using, Judy? We're revising this policy now because we're with the additions or
Well, then
with
we
the
should be
additions and
consistent
changes?
across all of them. If there
Yes.
is a revision,
Right,
then
well,
we should have it like, okay, revised, last
Right.
revised.
Yep,
Does that sound okay?
However you motioned it last time, as presented with the addition of.
Yep.
yeah, I'm just trying, yeah,
Reference
so
policies.
move to revise policy as presented.
Well, it's not as presented because we're making.
yeah, with the changes.
She did, that's a
Yep.
good addition.
So I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Mike? Because we
That's
made no
because we made no
changes.
changes.
I know. Okay,
This is
so,
what I have This is what I have as a motion. You move to revise the circulation policy as presented with the addition of the reference to the lost and damaged items policy.
And replacement and, never mind,
No,
on the
okay.
replacement policy.
Fine,
It's
okay.
specifically called the replacement policy.
It's just called that?
Mm-hmm.
Reference to the replacement policy?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just gonna say that then, if you're okay with that, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. It's just easier.
all right.
Need a second.
Yes, I do. Oh, no. Annalee, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, Kristen, agenda item 8, council actions relating to the library. Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah, it sounds interesting meeting. Awesome.
Can I go back to this, what would be a style?
Awesome.
Can I go back to this, what would be a style point?
Sure, I guess.
In that previous item,
We'll have to amend our,
in that previous item, you know, there's that, sub E, policy review, and under that, has circulation policy.
yes,
But an agenda, does this work? Policy,
yes.
but an agenda, does this work? Like I went to school about, if you only have one item.
I know.
Okay. So
I
that's-
don't know. Mrs. Cosmiter, man, drilled that into my head.
Where is
I
it?
think we're just gonna have to be uncomfortable with it, Terry.
Okay. What's the future, right?
Look, we're just gonna have to be uncomfortable with it, Terry.
Okay. What's the future, right?
Okay,
It is style.
right.
Okay.
On that code, there should be clarification that that code was not initiated by the county.
I just said still working on code of conduct.
Is that like,
No, I just said still
Oh,
working
no.
on code of
Yeah.
conduct. That's it.
Thank you for your report. Maybe that's what I should have said. All right, agenda item 9. Anna Lee, do you have an update on the Franklin Public Schools?
Library this month, just getting acclimated to the district, and I'm excited to join this committee, and I know that or this board, I should say. Then we have a meeting coming up in a few weeks, so.
Yeah, the day after I get back from vacation.
Is it really?
Awesome.
Oh, you're gonna be all like
Awesome.
refreshed and relaxed, I'm gonna be gearing up for a teacher's back. I'm
Right,
excited, so I think we'll touch base more regularly.
Yeah.
exactly.
Have more reports.
Good,
Yeah.
well, welcome. And librarians too.
Jill.
Jill, yeah,
Mhm.
she was a
Jill,
resource
okay.
for Judy, so.
Oh, yeah.
Good, welcome. For me, for this month, I did attend the meeting with, was it IRS in the patio, met on the patio. IRS in the patio, met on the patio. And Jennifer will talk about that, and, but nothing really other than that this month.
What'd you say?
I'm sorry I missed that.
Oh, yeah, we waited a little bit. I was like, Haney's gonna be here.
I was gonna do that.
It's okay,
Like, Haney's gonna be here.
I was gonna do that.
it's okay. All righty, so Jennifer, your report.
Me. Oh, me.
Oh, wait, stop. I'm gonna reference the master calendar. I try to do that every month. So it was board elections committee calendar. I try to do that every month. So it was board elections, committee appointments, and welcoming new board members for this month on our master calendar. So, all right.
I know you have the report in front of you. So if you have any questions other than what I talk about, just let me know.
I do,
Oh, yeah. If you have any questions other than what I talk about, just let me know.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Third bullet point on that, what type of collaborative programming are we doing with Hales Corners? And is that something that you see as being something that we would do more of, just in general within McFliss? Do more of, just in general within McFliss?
That's what we're kind of hoping, like we talked about the Southwest libraries being Hales Corners, Franklin, Greendale, Greenfield.
Yeah.
Maybe partnering to do like a read program.
Or you've got Greendale, which is very small,
Mm-hmm.
it's physical space, and you say, oh, okay, so maybe you rotate through things, and there are some programs that you do as a bundle. And then
So I think that's,
you
yeah.
hold it in a particular place.
I mean, I'm just talking to the Hales Corners director, so, that was kind of her thought, was that we could do more.
I know that the children's department where if they're hiring a performer for the summer reading program, and that performer can then book over at Hales Corners that same day, they often get a discount. So if they're coming a distance and Brittany can work with whoever, then both libraries get a discount on that program. So I guess it, in some ways, that way, but I think there's probably just gonna
There's
be
more.
continued conversations, yeah.
Yeah. So. That's what we
I think it's a
talked
good
about.
idea.
Yeah. No work anniversaries this month, but we are looking to hire a replacement for our shelver who's leaving. Just get them trained and then they go off to college. But, so we're starting the process so that we can have somebody in place by September. I said HVAC's been working like a champ. And then I walk in this morning and Bob's there with the HVAC contractor, but he was just there to do, there's nothing
Okay.
wrong.
Make sure that
'Cause I
drain
told-
isn't plugged again, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, there was nothing wrong. So there were some additional
Mm.
repairs I authorized for the roof, being the extra gutter guards, no, ice guards. They found extra holes in our rubber membrane, and there was a miscommunication, and they just did it. They just fixed them, which,
Oh,
you know, they need, you know, we
Yeah.
don't want any problems, so I'm glad they fixed them, but it was kind of
they
a little
did it
out of
before
order.
yeah.
They did it before they got authorization, so Peggy was not too,
Pay for that, or does the city pay for it?
we paid for it, yeah. So, that was some extra. The Veterans Memorial, I just met with, the Hales Corners Franklin, or the Franklin Hales Corners VFW post. They're taking over, and I feel pretty good because they have somebody who will come and lift the old, you know, put the bricks in. I mean, I think because they already are maintaining the Hales Corners Memorial, they're like, this is not a problem.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
yeah. So hopefully they'll have more people to help out with the maintenance. So that's good. And then we just got our details for the 2023 budget kickoff, so I'm working on that. Using the numbers that the finance committee came up with, so should just be plugging those in.
We're doing it, I think Alan had done some inflationary estimates, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that what we're using
Mhm.
for our numbers?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm gonna use for our numbers. Doesn't mean that's what the
Right,
city
okay, so
will.
we have taken inflation into account,
Yes.
okay.
The patio, Maria already kind of talked about that. But it wouldn't be a change order, it would be a separate bid. It would probably go out later this year to happen next year if we decide to move forward with it.
And if I could just say something about the patio, if you have a chance just to go out to the patio and take a look at it, because my daughters were here with me that day, and we went out there, and my daughter's like, Mom, there is nothing that day, and we went out there, and my daughter's like, Mom, there is nothing wrong with this patio. There are no cracks in it or anything. Why are they gonna tear the whole thing up? You can see what kind of household we run. We don't replace anything if it still works, right? Why are they gonna run? We don't replace anything if it still works, right? Why are they gonna rip the whole thing up? This is in perfect shape, you know. She's like, well, okay. So then, I said, Jennifer, just look at it. Maybe we could replace part of it, but not rip the whole thing up. So I don't even know if that's a possibility, but not rip the whole thing up. So I don't even know if that's a possibility or what the rest of you think. But the slabs are in perfect condition. They have sunk, but mud jacking won't work. But maybe if they, maybe replacing some, but not all. That's what my daughter suggests. Community's comment to the board.
I think we should have a future big plan for something much better out there and not worry about this.
Yeah. So now we have an extra year because they're not going to be doing it for a year. So
Yeah.
Work on raising funds for something spectacular.
Concrete planters no,
Yeah.
they're not concrete planters. They're those, what are those
I don't know
called?
what that is. It is. They looks like concrete. Oh, spancrete or like a whatever
Those heavy
Those,
things.
the
Yes.
heavy things
that take up a lot
that-
of space.
and that probably should, they're too heavy.
Yeah,
That would be kind of interesting. I have to have Dale back.
those little pill bugs.
So they will move those off of the patio, no matter what we do, we're moving those off. And then, the other planters that the Eagle Scout did,
Yes,
those won't be easy to move because they're kind of
permanent.
permanently together. I thought we could just,
That project.
huh? That wasn't me, no.
They're well built.
Huh? That wasn't me, no.
They're well built. They
They're
haven't
well
moved an
built.
inch since they were built.
So we
For a
talked
reason.
about, doing the patio around those, but that wouldn't be a good
Yeah.
solution, so. But Dale, what's funny because he's trying to pressure wash. But Dale, what's funny because he's trying to pressure wash it and the water keeps coming back at him. I'm like, see, this is my problem with this
Right.
patio. The
Right,
water
yeah.
just comes right back. But it looks really good. In
It
fact,
does.
your daughter should
I
have
know.
come like 2 weeks before
She
when it
wouldn't
looked. But it looks really good. In fact,
does.
your daughter should
I
have
know.
come like 2 weeks before
She
when it
wouldn't have
looked
said the
really
same
bad. Because it had like that algae,
Yeah.
that greenish look to it. So, like I said, we'll be moving the planters off of there. The security project,
We talked about.
said we'll be moving the planters off of there. The security project,
We talked about.
yeah. COVID-19
I
materials.
had a question on, while the numbers are creeping up.
Yeah.
What exactly do we mean by that? What number, what are we measuring here?
Community, the community numbers.
Number, what are we measuring here?
Community, the community numbers.
We get them from the health department.
Yeah.
And all those people
Franklin's
come into the
not,
library?
Franklin's not, so bad. This area isn't so bad right now.
Like Franklin.
Franklin.
So then,
So that's
so
why
then
we're
why
just
are,
kinda.
like,
we're
why
just
are,
kinda-
like, if
Well, is that
Frank,
an ongoing watch
Mhm.
from now forever?
Well, in
I'm just
pieces
curious.
for Franklin are 91 this week compared to, and this was Friday, the 22nd. 91 this week compared to 90 last. Since 9 cases this week compared to.
Masks are encouraged but not required.
Mhm.
You go
And
ahead and
that's
put
what-
that up,
Mhm.
and then when if it comes
Stay
down
home
to
if you're sick.
you needing
Yeah.
it, you know, and then
Yeah.
about that.
That's what we have already.
I
That's
think
what we,
the-
that's what we have. That's why I'm not making any changes, because it's not like,
It says that they're required in, like, if we have to be inside, luckily we've been outside for pretty much every program. And they even have them like at the, like with
If
the
people
box,
want
they have them available to put them on your kids. Yeah, because there's still the small area, you know,
That's
when
true.
under campus, you still see people not doing it. It's not like they're sitting there enforcing it, it is
yeah.
available, so. They're giving you all the things to do it if you want, like all of, everything's there. But if you choose not to do it, then that's.
Jennifer, did you get the health department? Jennifer, did you get the health department, you know?
Oh, but I check with Lauren. I mean, I just let them know, this is what we're doing. If you have any, if you have any problems, you know, want
Right.
us to make any changes, let me know. Any problems, you know, want
Right.
us to make any changes, let me know. And they're
That's
always
all you
like,
can do is
and
provide
they're
masks,
always-
provide sanitizer, there you go.
and they're always like, I think you're doing a great job, no changes needed, so, okay. Materials lockers, okay. Materials lockers, all the wiring is done, I believe, and the Ethernet was done, so we're just waiting for the delivery.
Where's the $2,000 gonna be put?
In grants. In our grant. So you know that,
That's
then there'll
what
be a
looked like we're way
charge,
over budget,
right.
just so that, yeah.
Yep.
Now you know where to find it.
We
Yeah,
can
we
make
don't
it,
have a specific delivery date, but do we? We're not committing to anything.
just there's a big difference between Rico and the copier that we want, but anyway.
A big money difference?
And yeah, and we didn't care for the customer service or right now between Rico and the one we want, so.
That's the difference.
Mhm.
What's the number?
Rico's gonna be like 141 a month for the lease. And the one we want is gonna be like the low 60s, 160, like 161.
Service and quality all around.
It
It's, you know,
does.
like, and you don't worry about it, it's like, I would think the term agonize would come with a higher price tag.
Oh.
Don't agonize.
I
over
agonize
$100,
over little
please.
things.
It's like 1 hour of pay or something.
Yeah.
Pay for that, so.
Need the
Split hairs
extra.
over that.
Yeah.
Pay for that, so.
Need the
Split hairs
extra.
over that.
Yeah, if they come faster when you call, this it's definitely worth pointing out.
Well, Janice still harbors a grudge because she had issues with the copier quality of her documents. There were some issues. She's a graphic designer,
Yeah.
so she can of her documents. There were some issues. She's a graphic designer,
Yeah.
so she can kind of explain it better. But there was a fix for it. And she kept asking them, why is it doing this? Can you help me out? And they'd be like, oh, we don't know why it's doing that. And they never bothered to go back to the company and say, hey, Franklin's having a problem. Franklin's having a problem with this. How do we fix it? It ended up being one little change in the settings. That's it.
Go with the other company.
Yeah. So Janice
tell
is
them
like,
why.
I don't want Rico. So anyway, that's
There you
where
go.
we're at.
So next month we'll.
No more agonizing.
Tell them the board approves. Okay.
Uses the County Cat mobile app, but if you have an iOS phone, it'll just automatically upgrade it. But if you have Android, you have to uninstall and reinstall the app to get the upgraded version. But the nice thing is that people can show their barcode in their app to check out, and they can link their family accounts. So like you could link your mine so I can see all our
Has there
overdues.
been any complaints about that? Because it won't, I uninstalled, reinstalled, and it won't connect. I'm just curious if like there was a time period today that you got some complaints, but maybe
I'd have to
I
ask the
said, I'm
reference
gonna wait till
desk,
tomorrow and
'cause
try again, so.
Information desk will get the complaints, but
Okay,
what is your an iOS? Are you iOS?
there. I'd still have a flip phone if I could, no, I'm kidding.
I can find out.
No,
I can find out.
no, I know who to ask. Sam is
Sam.
my friend also.
Yeah.
I will ask him.
You just had a mass amount of people trying to use writer.
What's, yeah, that's,
You just had a mass amount of people trying to use writer.
yeah, that's
That
what
could
I'm
be.
wondering. It came up really strange, like the logo wasn't even right or anything. I'm like, okay, there's problems. I will
I
wait till
can.
tomorrow.
Yeah. August 2nd, our milkman game. Thank you to people who signed up. I will be sending out information later this week.
Okay.
It's our milkman game. Thank you to people who signed up. I will be sending out information later this week
Okay.
about details. You don't have to buy a ticket, but you can if you want to because it's a fundraiser, but you don't have to. Volunteers don't have to buy tickets. And then the virtual trustee training week is August 22nd to 26th, and I have the link there. Trustee training week is August 22nd to 26th, and I have the link there.
And Terry, you have done some of those. I have never done the virtual training stuff for trustees, but you have.
Yeah.
And
sometime
would you
back.
say it's worthwhile?
Yeah, I think they're 90 minutes.
Okay,
You're right.
while,
Yeah, I think they're 90 minutes.
okay.
You're right about that, but the other thing is, sign up, and if you find it's not worth the time, you don't, keep watching.
Gotcha, okay. All right,
And then the numbers, circulations kind of trending down a little bit. But
people are on vacation.
I think a lot of it, people are on vacation and there's so much more to do.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean, there's a lot of competition for,
this year.
but our programming numbers are good, are pretty solid. And I lied, there was a e-newsletter that went out and I forgot to update those, so that shouldn't be zeros. I'll correct that next month. We did 132 new cards, which was,
Wow,
that's good.
that was awesome.
Our gate count is up, so people are coming in.
It's cool.
Good. Yeah,
But
cool and cool.
The programs have been packed, everyone's not been to, and they're outside, and not everybody even comes in.
Good deal.
Well, I suppose we have their clickers that count.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have clickers.
Any questions for Jennifer about anything in her report or the statistics? All right. Annie, do you have a report from the foundation?
I actually don't.
Okay,
We did get an author
right.
We don't-
sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh, a sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got $1,500 author sponsorship for the literary luncheon. Still trying to get a commitment from a company for the publisher.
Mm-hmm.
So if we get to lock in a publishing sponsor and an author sponsorship, that will pay for the room rental. And so all the tickets we sell will be funds raised for the foundation.
Okay. So for
Funds
anybody-
raised for the foundation.
Okay. So if anybody has a connection to anybody they
I-
think might sponsor, Jennifer has these available. And if you wanna get one from her or staff.
Like I took one to my chiropractor
Yeah.
because I'm like,
Give
she's
them-
in the area, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this would be good advertising.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Give
she's
them-
in the area, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this would be good advertising.
Right.
So,
So this is to give to somebody who might be a potential sponsor. So,
and there's the different levels of
Yep.
sponsorship on it.
Yep.
And then our next meeting is in October. September. Yeah.
Okay.
October, September. Yeah.
Good. Terry, did Colin meet? July, June, July? Okay.
I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
The
And for our new people, what does Colin stand for?
Council on Life set up within the advisory to the superintendent for public instruction and the libraries, the government entities for site of libraries is the superintendent and the libraries and technology. I think it's the citizen board appointed by the governor. Present some of the DPI. People from DPI had always the meetings, they kind of do our meetings and so on and so forth. And then, if some various issues come up, and then maybe, we have some suggestions or advice, or see some problems, then this committee acts on that and passes that along to the API. The thing I've been talking with inside baseball, but sometime back, for the first time, we set up standing committees within the council.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, for a couple of years, that really has not worked out well. Standing committees, it just had organizational problems. People felt kind of overloaded by taking on some kind of substantial ongoing project.
Sure.
So is that suggested that, well then, if it isn't working and we don't see a good way, a promising way to get to have it work as we might have thought it would, should we abolish it? And it might be in the first place, and then so stop. So at least I got a pat on the back for being the person.
I'll let
Well, you know how there's this on and on, we'll try this, we'll try that, and so forth. And to just see what, this is something that maybe if it sits for a while, we'll find a way to do something like this and
In a different
make it
way.
more effective. So then maybe I'll call the council.
So how do you set up an agenda then?
Of what?
To me,
Well, people at DPI set electronically the notices on it and so forth. So this has been around since the 70s, and it was by statute. So, various libraries around the state, and we can add things to the agenda as well. DPI sends some regular reports from various departments and DPI itself. And all things about broadband, there's things about broadband and something. Long before I started, I think I've been on 9 years so far. So the other thing that happens is we get a tour of the library, or first couple full-blown returns to an in-person tour. A couple of the library, Monarchy, earlier this month, and that was the first meeting that had most of the members actually come to it. And people from libraries all over the state. It's about half professionals, half lay people.
Terry, pardon me, have you guys ever come here?
No, we have.
Maybe a long time. I mean, I'm trying to
No, that could
remember.
be before my
Long
time.
time, yeah.
That could be.
I'm sorry.
But you can always nominate. I mean, I don't know how a library becomes a
Well,
host.
you can always volunteer for some new development.
Sure.
But, it's always, that probably wouldn't hurt to say, like our 20th anniversary. We missed it.
We did. It was May. You didn't
Our
get your
we just
cookie?
turned 21. We could maybe serve drinks, I don't know. But
On a new patio.
Yeah.
well, one thing I've done this a few times. We usually will have a tour of it, and people will point out the things that they want to, maybe impress you with, or explain this was a problem with the old library building, or with this library building, or with this or that, and this is how we've done it, or something about Wanakee's library was opened in August of 2019, so it's
Brand new.
17 years younger than this, or newer than this our library. It's about 40,000 square feet, which is roughly or almost exactly the same size. And a difference is it's a 2-story building, and the kind of basic structure you get is this, there'll be these big staircases to the upper and lower levels, and then it's long rectangular structures. So it's a very different look because of the 2 floors. Look because of the 2 floors, of course. Story setup. It's built to be like a community center for the city of Wanakee, for the city of Wanakee, and we kind of have that role. I don't know if there's any other thing. The school might, but not have anything for meeting space quite like this. So I think it not only serves as a place for the historical society, it acts as the historical society, and we have an active historical society. Equivalent, it's 22.
A little less than 15.
Okay. It's a much smaller community population, but I think it's sort of bigger, sort of rural or semi-rural area around that, even though they're basically, I assume, a bedroom community from Addison, and a very fast growing one. And a rain garden.
We have a rain garden.
So there we are, very happy.
Yeah.
On that one. And that's it with the 2-story building. Well, of course, there's less space for the one. So I think they have 5-figure income or savings in the power costs over these few years. Very happy with that. They don't charge for coffee. But if you don't bring your own, they do charge for cups.
Well.
Ah.
So there's an innovation. anyway, it was a lot more detailed stuff, but, a nice facility, a lot of good community engagement, and, they're in basically what is now a park. They're in basically what is now a park. It was an industrial site, and it was a super fun site. So there was they had to deal with all those kinds of difficulties of
Sure.
remediation and so forth. Turned out very nicely, and there's some of the stuff about it, how this works, because there's some of the stuff about it, how this works, because libraries are not independent of their cities.
Yes.
Or a separate governing body. So it's, have employees. You're not really an employee of the library, you're an employee of the city. Some of these people then. Not that clear, but, somebody, he's driving the city plow. Well, he's also the guy who has gone on college and got civil engineering thing. So he would have the technical problems with the infrastructure within the building. So just some of that detail that I think because we're a bigger community, we don't run into too much.
Right.
Jennifer, you have more of the contact with the city people. It's a very nice library, and much different approach, differences in the community, and so forth. Probably, it's probably worth a look at their website, for example. Just so
Not every library board has a member on this statewide committee, so we just happen to be lucky that Terry is, and he can bring us back this information. And
this was the thing where somebody was then on the then governor's staff, got the job of finding people for these thousands of people that you are,
right,
they need for. So
good.
he said, hey, you're kind of into books, aren't you? So, yeah, that was it.
Well,
It's been an interesting thing. And again, it's, as I said, there's 19 members, so they're either librarians, and that's statewide. So it's, yes. And this may be a problem in other areas too. People who we have Northwest, one that's smaller population, and also it's not that convenient to come down. Satisfying sometimes, or it's effective.
Okay, thank you. As far as upcoming meetings, the Finance Committee is working to get a meeting with the new finance director over at the city. And then our next meeting is August 22nd. Okay. It doesn't matter because Annie will be taking minutes. We don't have to find a sub this time. No. Anybody else know right now they will not be here? When does school start? I know this is your busy time and that doesn't almost really matter, but yeah. Okay, I'm just curious, yeah.
Kids are back, the first and second, it's a split.
Gotcha,
When
yes,
everybody's
yes.
back on the sixth.
Okay, all right. Okay, anybody else know right now that they're not gonna be here on the 22nd?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed, abstain?